Hi, this is Big Mama. I finished my journal for the Dear Julie September Scavenger Hunt Challenge for 2024, and I wanted to do a flip through of my journal for you. And the main digital that I used to make my journal was her Moon Music digital. I also used the French Fashionista, and then a few extra pages from other digitals that I had printed. But the Moon Music, what she did was took covers of old sheet music from the early 1900s and made a digital of it by photocopying it. So here are some of the pieces of it. And when I say pieces, I went through and used so much of it that it really is all that I have left are some little pieces. And then the French Fashionista. I love saying that word. It just rolls off my tongue, doesn't it? Fashionista. And so these ladies, you'll get to see all through here. Here's another piece of that Moon Music, and I loved the peacock. The peacock was what really inspired me for my whole journal, because I could see the ladies that I put in here in the early 1920s, they really enjoyed that decor. And so I thought that the peacock would break, what I want to say, overlap all of the digitals to where they were all cohesive together if I continue to carry the peacock itself through here. But you can see this is the small wallet size that she has. But I wanted you to see this so that you could see these are going to be bigger in here too. Enough said about the digital. You're probably wanting to know a little bit about the challenge. It was an exciting challenge for me because I had so much going on in the month. I really did not think that I was going to get it done, but there's so much inspiration with the ladies that encourage each other when you get involved with doing the challenge. They just cheer you on to where you don't dare give up. A couple of days ago, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning because I just had to get it done, because I didn't want to let them down. It wasn't letting me down, it was them. They just really were cheering me on. Some of the things that we were to make, I have my list here for a change. That, you know, I'm not good at remembering, and so I thought I'd better have that here. What you did was you had a scavenger hunt element, and then she had on that element different things that you were to use. And then there were also 6 extra pages that we did to where they were spotted, stenciled, stamped, sprayed, stained, or splattered. So you had those 6 pages also that you were using throughout the journal. I needed to do a sack bottom with secret pocket and 2 inserts. I needed to stencil some tags and do a slanted side tuck with a show off tag, and stitched a scrappy shabby sheet pocket. I can't talk. It's not her list, it's my mouth. A sealed envelope hidden journaling card. I'm not going to do the whole list for you, but you get the idea. Everything started with the letter S, and there were 17 items that we were to make to put our journal together. And then the cover was supposed to be let me see if I can find where the cover was at, a scavenged, scrappy cover. And so guess what? I have, there it is. I told you I love that peacock. So I wanted to really enhance it. And so I used my stencil and that blast molding paste. And then I have, if you've seen my videos before, you know this grungy theme of the Illuminaire that I have. So I picked this silver or platinum here with the blue, mixed it together for the background behind here, and then did the copper on top to bring, I didn't have a dark blue, and so I put the silver and the light blue together to do the background, and then went copper over to bring the blues out in this picture here, and added it in. So if that made sense, yay. I'm a good teacher, right? And so anyway, this is an antique button I found down in the bottom of my, I just kept digging until I found this, and it was like it was meant to be, right? Because look at that navy blue with that beautiful, beautiful orangey color that goes so well with this. And then I put the plastic over the top of the digital. This was my third attempt because first I did glossy accents. The glossy accent just had bubbles all through it because I was doing such a big space, and it had just bubbles all through it. So threw that away. Then I decided that I was going to use the enamel embossing, put that on there and did it, and it just crumpled up. And then when I tried to flatten it out, even when I heated it and flattened it out, it wouldn't take. So I just glued this little guy onto a piece of cardstock and went through and with the copper and painted around him, and slapped some plastic on the top and put some brads in there to hold it in place that went through the cover to keep it. And then because it is moon music, I used an old hymnal and did the copper all over the old hymnal, and because it kind of matched that gilding that's already on here, but because it's music, moon music, hymnal, okay, I thought I'd draw that line there so you'd understand. And then just kind of use my sponge technique. In other words, just wiped it on and wiped it off. That's a great technique. And so to get keep the blue in there and have it look like it was cohesive. There you go. Took some of my seam binding, tied my bow, and then you just squeeze it and take that off and sew the bow together so you don't have to untie it. And I did that with some eyelets here in the back, ran that through the cover, and then for the cover I used some material that I had that I thought went really well. So when I did the binding, I used the same material and then put this over it with, I cut the file folder and then put the material in the file folder and put the edges up so that it was all finished really good. And so then it went over the ribbon and the eyelets here to hold it. And then here in the front where I sewed the button on, I also went over it, and so that is secured in there really good where it's sewed on. So one of the elements I told you was the sack bottom. Well, I had the small brown paper sack. I did the punch, and this is the top of the sack. This wasn't the element that had the things in it, but the top of the sack was left over, so I thought, okay, I would just go ahead and glue all of the pieces of that sack together and then punch through it so that it was good and sturdy for a belly band. And then one of our elements we were supposed to do was the little notebook, and so I made it a see-through notebook with one of the French fashionistas. And then this is a private junk mail envelope. How about if I say that instead of privacy envelope? Those words. So anyway, and then I had this beautiful paper that I got from my crafty source, Michelle, and just has my scrap paper inside there that I went through and sewed it in with a ribbon through the top there. And then it's just my scrappy notebook. So we were to do 3 scrappy notebooks, so there's one of the 3. and we were to do some borders, and the element I used was the tissue paper, one of the 17, and so tissue paper, and so I took 4 or 5, I think they're 4, different tissue papers and cut the 1 inch wide, then layered them and did a little bit of pleating on them, sewed them down the middle so they can be gnarly or whatever you want to do, but it gave it some strength too with the tissue paper. This is the digital that she had in the French Fashionista, and so I put lace on the back of it to cover the cardstock that I used, and that gives it some strength too. And so you'll see we had to do 6 of them, and I have some antique buttons that I put on here. And with this, I didn't do it on the front because I didn't want to cover up my little peacock, but this is also a tuck area because we needed to do some patchwork tags, and I wanted to have a place to put them. And so I have several pages for the journaling also. This is my flip out with a diagonal tuck, and we had to have 2 inserts. So I took a privacy envelope, and with that privacy envelope on the flip out part of it, I did this, but then I also added paper to it, and then it just keeps flipping out so that you have some journaling spot. And then we were supposed to use shapes, and so I chose to use the triangle throughout my journal because I like to do the zigzag. And when I do the zigzag, I then went back through with painter's pen, Sharpie sometimes. So I did silver, I've done gold, but the different ones that I did, I wanted to paint the edges for the triangle. So carrying that triangle theme through, I took the edge here, cut it this way, and then folded it under to create, well, I didn't do that on this one, I'm sorry, I lied, because I cut the pieces and then used those pieces that were inside here back over here. No, I didn't. I did fold those under. Did you see the squirrel running on the wheel up there? Yeah, squirrel. If I knew how to edit, believe me, that would be gone, but you guys get that one. Okay, so what I do is I cut this and then fold this under, fold that under, fold it under, and glue them down. So I had my triangles here, and then I cut triangles and added it around the edge here. And I had these little plastic thingamabobbers for a steampunk. And I thought that since the moon is all the way through here, I kind of put that like the full moon rising. And then I have the little one up here in the sky. But it worked for me. And then I put this lace on because it's like the circles for the moon. So that's how my mind was working. And then we had to do some cards. And so, like I said, this was with a black Sharpie that I went around the edge then with the black Sharpie in there, and the silver, and then on this side the black Sharpie. I'm going to just throw those over there, and we have several pages for you to be able to journal. And then this again is the edge. The ready edge is what she calls it. And then we were to do 5 of the tags that were patchwork. And so I used 6 different pieces of paper. And then after I put them on, I went with the gold marker around the pieces and then gold splatter on it to make all the pieces look like they went together. So that's how I did those. for my journaling card. And they stick in behind this really well. And this, we were to make a 17-inch. The number 17 was what we were using this month, and so there was a 17-inch snippet roll that we were to use throughout. And so this is part of my snippet roll and tag that we were supposed to make. And with this tag, I use the stencil on it and then words through it with the digital. And that's just a piece of that privacy envelope. This one that I use the words on, it says tranquility, a peaceful, calm state. So I just wrote that on there so that, I don't know, that just seemed like tranquility for me. And I loved finding the dictionary definition of tranquility. We were to do a cloth, a fabric pocket. And so this again represents my moon, and put the word on here for the digital, and this is on a digital, and then this is the tag of the digital, and the word on here, relax, to go with that. Just think an evening with that beautiful moon. This was to be a tuck with also a flip out, and so I have a journaling spot here. And another one of those tags, that's the patchwork tag with the splatters on it and the gold pin. Then we were to do a page that was strips. And so I used my washi tape, and we were to have two spots that were journaling spots. And so I have this spot here, and then this one here. That opens up for journaling spot, the digital, and then washi. And I liked, this piece is just a little bit longer, and so I placed it where I did because when you're flipping the page, you can see that blue and white right here, and I really like that look to it. And this is that where I told you the bag, this was the piece, and when I cut it, I did the edge here, so the top of the bag, I went ahead and used it in the front for that. And this opens up, and it has another one of those little notebooks that we were to make, the scrappy notebook, and that's with the window. And it fits right down in there. And then in the bottom, I have some more of that paper, but it's glued in, so that is not a secret journaling spot. It's down in there. And then with the snippet, I made a paper clip. And then, because we were to have two inserts, when I glued it on, the top part, I was afraid if you kept sticking things down there, you might tear the top. So what I did was I put the hole on the side here, so it has a spot here in the side for the two spots. Let me flip that right there. Okay. Don't want to tear it up. And then lots and lots of journaling space in here. This page was a little bit short, so I ran some tape on here and ran some paper on the edge of that page. Another one of those little cards, patchwork ones. This is we were to do 4 of the little tags, and it's a waterfall that pulls down. It's so hard to do this when I'm doing it. There you go. It's hard to do it in the air. Flipping in the air is not my forte, but I will try to flip in the air just for you. No. See? There you go. And I did this blue here to where you could do like with a white pen or something and write something special in there. There you go. And on this side of the page, I just made a pocket to hold another one of the tags. This is my special page, and we were to use a seed packet or a seed envelope, and so I did that and made a little, out of a book page, made a little letter for you to be able to write something special on out of a book page. It's been gessoed so that it's got a lot of strength, and so that it goes in there. This is our fabric flip notepad. So there's the fabric. Then here is the digital. And then we were to do our splattered stained pages. I think this is my stained page. I'm pretty sure it's my stained page with the blue paints. There you go. Everybody's happy. And this, because we have to use these and we have to get our tags in there, I thought, well, that will be a little belly band to go on the Braille page, because even though I take this and I go over the Braille to smash it all back down, it's still a little bit difficult to write on. So I thought, well, use it for tags and stuff. You can still, you can feel a little bit of the bumps, but I smush them down real good so you can use the page for writing. You can use the page for gluing things down. Then we were to do a 3 slotted and pockets. And so what I did with this page is, this is where I did my envelope. The hidden journaling card is up underneath here, and the envelope. Let's see, the envelope, I glued that down and it goes in there, and then this becomes that part of the envelope. And then there she is, nice and pretty for you. So when I glued this piece of paper down, what I've done behind each one of these slots is I put book page, and that way each one is an individual pocket here. And then this just flips down so you have a journaling spot inside it. So each one of these is a little slotted pocket. But then when I glued it on as a pocket also. So there's my 4th pocket, surprise. And then she wanted a slotted pocket that had a peekaboo window with a show-off card. So she is showing off. And I went around and stitched everything with a copper-colored metallic thread, a DMC metallic thread. And then she goes on there, and you can see through to Some Enchanted Evening. All right, so this one, I took the digital and made a little tiny pocket to put another one of the tags. And over here, the tag, that's the last of those. And I want to show you my tissue paper is where I did the sprays. So the other was the splatter. But The way I did this is on a piece of paper. I put the circle down and sprayed the paper really, really good with water. I took the magicals and flipped it down on there and then started blotting the paper. And so this is rice paper here that I have, and somewhere else in here I have it too. I did it on the braille. You can see it up here in the corner. And see, just when you want to show off, you can't, you know. I thought it was pretty super cool. Here. This is on the tissue paper. I thought it turned out pretty gnarly. You know, I had to throw gnarly in my video at least once. But, yeah, there's the rice paper. And here's the, you could tell this was like one of my very last ones that I printed off on that one big piece of paper. And just, I really liked it. It's just saying. And then here, I made a little tuck spot for my last of the notebooks that we were supposed to make. I have that in there. And signed it. And that is the end of it. She is for sale. If you are interested at all, if you know how to get a hold of me, please get a hold of me. If not, put in the comment and I will find you. I promise. I know that I'm not on Facebook and I am a weird person. I don't have an Etsy store and everything, but I do have journals if you're interested in buying them. And so just reach out, and somebody knows you and knows me. We'll get together, I promise. And if not, I will comment back to you my apologies, and I'll give you my information. It's weird out there with all of these robots and hackers and everything. I'm one of the scared people. That's just me. I try to think of ways to do things that are weird, I guess. That's Big Mama. Well, bye-bye. And if you want a journal, go for the weird. Bye.